This is the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. This is Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, 9:30 a.m. We are in the boardroom. I call the meeting to order. We have quorum. And I ask Director Rosa to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Could we please all rise? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, I acknowledge the media. They're present. Call for the approval of agenda. Approval of the minutes of July 5th, 2023, GRF Board Regular Open Meeting.
First, the agenda.
Yeah, I said approval of the agenda first.
Oh, then you were getting...
Okay, let's do the approval of agenda first, and then we go to the approval of the minutes.
I so move.
Second by anybody? Second. Any comments, concern, changes? No? Then we go to the July 5th, 2023, GRF Board Regular Open Meeting. Do I have a motion? Okay. Second? Okay. Any comments, changes? Okay, that's approved. The next one is July 10, 2023, GRF Budget Business Plan Review. Any motion? First, second. Any comment, concern? Okay, approved. And the last one is July 20, 2023, GRF Board Agenda Prep Meeting. Second by anybody? Okay. Any comments, concern? Who did the second, they're asking? Right there. And no comments, concern, questions? That approved. Report of the chair. Today, our president lost her voice a little bit. That's what I'm here. So I'm helping for her to rest her voice. So for that, she said that she doesn't have anything today for bring up. And during the meeting, if anything comes up, you have the right to jump in and say whatever you want.
I just want to say one thing. Joan's not here today. And one of the reasons that she's not here today is because she had a slight stroke and is in a nursing home, okay? And as you can see, we've had to do a lot of switching around because of, and then myself, you know, I'm not infectious, I want you to know that. But I needed to have Reza lead the meeting because I'm having difficulty speaking, so thank you.
Okay. Do we have anybody on Zoom? No? Okay. I just want to make sure if Ms. Joan Milliman is on Zoom or Debbie. Okay.
I talked to her yesterday. She doesn't have Wi-Fi there.
Okay. We wish her a speedy recovery. Okay. Then we go to the CEO report.
Thank you, Acting President, honorable members of the board. This morning, I want to take a moment, and as boards and staff are in mid-budget preparation, I want to reiterate how residents can help reduce costs and highlight recent landscaping services and maintenance and construction efficiency enhancements. As a reminder, the next 2024 business plan budget meetings are televised, and they're going to occur next week. GRF meets on Monday, August 7th at 9:30 a.m., followed by United on Wednesday and Third on Thursday. Those meetings will take place here in the boardroom, and again, these meetings will be televised. One way residents can help to reduce costs is to opt out of paper mailings. Senate Bill 392 mandates each member receive a written request to indicate their preferred delivery method. That notice arrived with your 2022 audited financial statements in May. In case you missed the form, residents may email their delivery method preference to information@vmsinc.gov villageport.org. September 1st is the response deadline, or the last mailing address provided will be your delivery method for the upcoming year. To reiterate, the mandated November and April mailings cost about $7.50 per member. So if we have 12,000 members opt out of the paper mailings, our annual savings would be about $90,000. Currently, 3,120 owners have opted out, and this will generate an estimated savings of $23,000. And we'd like to get this number higher. Other ways residents can help reduce costs is by using Dwelling Live to clear their guests at the gates, and Easy Pay. Registering guests electronically instead of by telephone for guest clearance, for example, can save up to $1.60 per call. Training classes are available to learn how to use village technology, including Dwelling Live, the resident portal, and others in partnership with the PC Club. Classes are held from 1 to 3 p.m. in the PC Club Learning Center here on the Community Center 3rd floor. The next class is Wednesday, August 16th. And again, that's it from 1 to 3 p.m. on Wednesday, August 16th. Please register on the PC Club website or at the PC Club Learning Center, again on the 3rd floor of this building. I've previously highlighted cost reductions and efficiencies implemented by our departments, including Human Resources and the new employee health insurance program is saving $500,000 in 2023. General Services conducted a fleet right-sizing assessment, which will save $610,000 over the next 4 years. And the purchasing of smaller buses saves $35,000 in purchase costs for each bus and an estimated $42,000 in fuel over the 7-year life cycle of each bus. Media and Communications recently secured a 3-year agreement with Memorial Care, valued at more than $660,000 for the Village Breeze event sponsorship and the wellness bus route. Today, I'd like to highlight the cost reductions and efficiencies recently implemented in landscaping services and maintenance and construction. In landscaping services, the master irrigation control system, which is 80% complete, will save an estimated 74 million gallons of water and $280,000 in water costs annually. Plus, it is eligible for more than $350,000 in Metropolitan Water District rebates. Additionally, the department has adjusted the mowing protocol by retaining 7 mowers slated for surplus. This allows more acreage to be mowed in less time, reducing 320 labor hours per mow cycle, which is equivalent to $11,000 per cycle and $290,000 annually. These gardener hours are now allocated to shrub bed maintenance. Landscaping Services is also mixing pre-emergent herbicides with non-selective herbicides to spray both simultaneously. This halves the total spray hours, and crews can cover twice the area in the same time to address weeds. This saves an estimated 144 labor hours per week in the spring and summer, equivalent to $5,000 per cycle and more than $125,000 annually. These gardener hours are allocated to shrub bed maintenance cycles. Landscaping is also mixing pre-emergent herbicides with mulch. This reduces revisits to spray weeds and saves 160 labor hours per month. And these gardener hours are again reallocated to shrub bed maintenance. Looking to our maintenance and construction department, the department has implemented a management on-call system for after-hours emergencies, which is reducing after-hour vendor costs by 7%. In this process, security contacts the on-call after-hours maintenance manager. The manager determines if the incident warrants immediate attention, and if so, dispatches the vendor. This reduces costs because the contractor won't respond to minor issues that VMS can address in the morning, and incidents the contractor does not have the capability to address at night. The department has increased the plumbing contractors on its list of available service providers from 2 to 5. This reduces emergency response times to an hour and a half from 2 to 7 hours, thereby reducing damage associated with moisture intrusion events. Maintenance and Construction has researched and implemented a new appliance brand, Speed Queen, for laundry facilities. to improve equipment quality, and this reduces the staff time dedicated to repairs. The department has implemented monthly contractor meetings to review all work and invoicing to ensure quality and accuracy. The department is also reviewing construction materials to extend the lifespan of materials to use the latest industry standards. Cost savings is estimated to be $150,000 per mutual over the next 2 years. The department has also implemented bulk material ordering with select vendors. The cost savings associated with this is approximately 3% of the materials budget. Maintenance and construction is also creating and updating SOPs for specific work tasks. This has resulted in an estimated 10% efficiency in work order closures. The department routinely reviews staffing capabilities and reassigns staff based on job knowledge and skills, resulting in an estimated 10% efficiency in work completed. The department is implementing technology to allow moisture intrusion coordinators to transfer field information to administrative staff for faster processing. This allows our coordinators more time in the field responding to cases, resulting in less costly repairs for mutuals and members. Maintenance and construction has also created a tracking system to manage contractors to ensure quality and compliance with contract specifications. The department is reassigning operations coordinators to assist 4 persons with contacting residents to schedule work and manners. This allows 4 persons to spend more time in the field overseeing our operations. And the department has implemented cross-training initiatives to allow temporary reassignment of personnel to support work areas experiencing workload surges. In the manor alterations division specifically, the department has restructured and enhanced training and improved the call answer rate from 32% last year to 88% so far in 2023, and reduced the email backlog from 683 in January to 3 emails in May. Manor alterations has also eliminated the requirement to include asbestos reports with mutual consent applications, and this has reduced the approval time from 3 weeks to 5 business days. So again, those are just a highlight of some things that our VMS departments have been working on, and I wanted to share with you this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any question for our CEO? Go ahead.
What's an SOP?
Standard operating procedure. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ken.
First of all, I want to thank you very much for the staff's effort to reduce the cost and the cost consciousness. That is most important for us and many of our residents. And I have only one question regarding your presentation, that some of the items are very much related to the residents who should know what to do in case of they need an emergency. This emergency hours that you have done is very, very good, but they should know. So what are you going to do in terms of informing them these are available to them?
We regularly publicize the fact that residents need to call security after hours and on weekends for immediate service. We will continue to do that.
I understand, Mr. Andre, you have a question, but please hold on to your question. When it comes to members' comment, you can bring up your question. This is just for the board right now. Jim?
Yeah, Siobhan, thank you for that tremendous report. I just noticed an overriding theme, and I know many of us look at getting better as working harder. And what I noticed that the overriding theme there was not just working harder, but investment in technology, creative solutions, and process improvements. That's what created a lot of the efficiencies and cost savings. And to the extent that we as residents can contribute, I noticed the dwelling live, the opt-out for the mailing, and some of those kinds of things would really support the efficiencies, not just the dollar savings, but the efficiencies. So I just urge everybody to opt in to Easy Pay. And just a note, I know I shared with you, when I got a ticket one time for not stopping, I'll share it with everybody again, this one. I was not on Easy Pay. I was basically had my automatic bank would just send a check. I thought that was essentially the same thing because it was easy for me. And in one of my conversations with Pam, the controller, she said, that doesn't help us. And so I immediately switched to Easy Pay. So I just encourage everyone to switch to Easy Pay. It is a significant savings, and it's easy. Just as it says, it's easy. So if we can maybe make that known how to do it, because I guess there's some sort of, you have to actually ask for it.
Yes.
And I don't know how that
Sure,
works.
we'll publicize that.
Okay.
Thank you for your suggestion.
Okay, I just want to make comment on all of these savings. They're great. There are a lot of improvement and cost saving. I just want to make sure all of that going to be reflected in 2024 budget for the mutuals and the GRF. And I think we should highlight those in our budgeting process so everyone knows where these cost savings and improvements are. So we understand without those, we might have cost increase rather than being kind of flat in some areas. So if you highlight those for members to understand it better, that would be great.
And a clear place you'll see this is in the number of unfunded positions for next year where we have a significant savings based on our department head's great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, now we go to the open forum. At this time, members only address the board of directors regarding the items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this board of directors. The board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted for the open forum to 3 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. The speaker may not give their time to other people. No audio or video recording by attendees and no rude or threatening comments. Member can attend the meeting by joining the Zoom link, zoom.us/j/981312572242, or call 1-669-900-6833, or email meeting@vmsinc.org to have their message read during the open forum. Do we have any comments?
Yes, we have a few speakers today. The first speaker is John Beckett.
Good morning. I'm sad to hear about Joan. She's really one of the most hardworking people on the board, and I'm sure we're all going to wish her well and offer our prayers for her. Thank you. I'm here about this letter from Golden Rain that we got in the email dated July 18th, 2023. It says in the middle, since Building E currently is uninhabitable, the current remedy has been to lease space. The permanent solution requires GRF and the mutuals to agree on making a significant investment from the GRF Reserve Fund. What is GRF's permanent solution? Well, GRF wants to construct a new building. What will it cost? It doesn't say in here, but the latest estimate I heard was $6 million. GRF seems to be asking us to persuade our mutual directors to agree on this plan and to support GRF's $6 million construction project. Last year, I was gathering signatures on a petition, and I spoke with a lot of people. And one of the things that came up was the Building E project. I found only one person who actually supported that. I also spoke with my mutual directors. I belong to United. And they're all dead set against this, the ones I spoke to. I'm sorry to tell you, but most of United's members and most of the directors who represent us do not support spending $6 million for a new security building. However, we appreciate the fact that you asked us first instead of telling us later. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Next speaker is N.C. Carlson.
Good morning, everyone, on this beautiful day. Madam Secretary, Madam CEO, Madam Chair, honorable directors. I basically succinctly just want to reiterate what John said. I received the email on July 18th, and I submitted an objection, a formal written objection, which I addressed appropriately to the president and to the treasurer for dissemination to the appropriate members of this board. And it included a considerations brief of your alternatives that you could be considering versus building a new building, which needed to be addressed and employed. One of those includes a space utilization study, of which I understand the other boards had requested, where is it? Conduct one, and I understand one has now been performed, which advises a membership and yourselves, what's the occupancy of other space opportunities around the village and the utilization. So my recommendation on that is publish it on the website, publish it in the Globe, so we have an idea, so that the membership in communicating to you and what we think is the best use of spending our money is with that knowledge in hand. So I leave you with that task, those considerations in a brief form. Anybody needs me to do any further analysis on that, I'm happy to conduct audit and review it in support of making the right decisions about spending our money and preparing a proper capital reserve plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning. Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here with an update on the work of the foundation at the behest of residents that are experiencing a temporary financial emergency. Fall help is available. What happens when you fall? This is the critical moment. Can you get up on your own? Are you seriously injured? Can you call for help? The president of the Foundation of Laguna Woods reflects. Having fallen myself late at night in my own manner, I know those questions only too well. Emergency response devices, or medical alert systems as they're sometimes called, can provide an answer. For those of us who live alone, these devices provide an easy way to request help. For family members and caregivers, a medical alert system provides peace of mind knowing that their loved one is protected and can get help quickly and in the event of an emergency. Knowing that help can be requested also permits greater independence while also reducing anxiety and stress. As a corollary to this of its efforts to promote fall prevention in the past year, the Foundation is helping residents who are fall prone but have limited financial means to get the benefit of emergency response devices. The Foundation has rented approximately 70 such devices for village residents in the past year. Access to such help is available through the social services, which determines need and financial eligibility. So social services is located here on the floor of the community, first floor of the community center. Can be reached at 949-597-4267. Fall prevention classes are also available for August and September. Foundation of Laguna Woods Village is partnering with Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center to provide classes free of charge right here in the village at Clubhouse 2, with medical center staff leading the sessions. The sessions will focus on different aspects of fall prevention, incorporating chair exercises, stretches, and strengthening to help improve strength and stability. The program will be offered as 1 month segments with 3 1-hour sessions in each month. On Wednesday from 2:30 to 3:30 in August and September. Residents can register for a single month session. Registration can be done via ActiveNet or at Clubhouse 2 or the Recreation Office. Registration for August and September classes are underway. Space is limited. If you have any questions, please contact the Foundation at 949-268-2246 or the Foundation at comline.com. And for more information about the Foundation, please go to our website, which is thefoundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org. Please note that donations can always be made using PayPal on the Foundation website. Thank you.
Next speaker is Maxine McIntosh.
Good morning, one and all. First of all, I really want to thank our CEO for that excellent, superb report on reduction of cost efficiency, reductions and cost efficiencies. That's one of the best I have ever heard. We had a good one last month too. I liked that one. And she's promised, she's already told us, and there'll be more coming because she has more staff working on it. We obviously have achieved through our CEO a real goal-driven staff. And that's what it takes to run a community like this, in my humble opinion. Thank you so much. And, but I did want to especially notice, since I went through a lot of plumbing work rather recently, you know, we're all going to. Our homes are that old. No matter how well they're maintained and how hard everybody works, the age of the plumbing is an existing fact, and it's just going to take work to get down in that old adobe soil and dig out those pipes and fix them. But to take the maximum time for the response on plumbing problems down from 7 hours to 1.5 hours, that's phenomenal. That's just marvelous. Another thing I'd like to ask is, I kind of lost this through the years, but about 9 or 10 years ago, GRF was looking at property. GRF is responsible to maintain and improve property, but the problem at that time was a lot of property was shown being owned by GRF. And I'm no attorney, and I don't know all these things. I really don't. But I know it. I didn't think a trustee could be an owner, that a trustee of the property could be an owner of the property. Now, maybe I'm misinformed, but I was wondering if anything came of that. At about 9 years ago, it came up before the board, I believe it was, and I never heard what was concluded. And is there property that somehow got put in the wrong name, under the wrong board? We know that all the corporate members are responsible for oversight of GRF, but GRF is responsible for the maintenance. So I'm just wondering if there's anything, any final report on something like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ellen Leonard.
Good morning, everybody. Most of what I want to talk about is, I have a lot of questions, and I hope you can answer some of them. I've attended quite a few meetings, I've done some research, and I've reviewed some of the budgets, and I'm mostly particularly talking about the 2024 business plan. I wanted to know how many employees we have at this time and how many we are going to be adding for 2024. I don't know if you'll be able to provide that information. And on the $600,000 auditorium sound system, I wanted to know if we got another estimate rather than just the Segerstrom estimate. On the event and clubhouse rental fees, it appears to me that there will be no increase user fees. I just want a confirmation of that. Shared cost. I was looking for the shared cost for 2024. I don't know if that's been published or not. So if it no. Okay, I didn't think so because I looked. And from my research too, I thought I saw that the increase for the assessments for GRF will be $7.81. Is that confirmed? So, and that concludes my questions. If anybody can answer some of them, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Georgiana Willis.
Good morning. I'm here about Building E. I'm very much opposed to it. we don't know, I haven't heard anything about the results of the space utilization study. It just seems to me that we would have thousands of feet of extra space, square feet already. And so many of the organizations, whether they're police or city halls, when they've needed to add space, they bought temporary buildings for $20,000 or $40,000. And those things last a long time. They've served them very well. So I don't understand what the need, and Mr. Beckett mentioned $6 million. I thought a figure that I had read, it said $7.28 million. Yet when maybe 3 months ago we were hearing $3.2 million or something like that for a building. So that seems like quite a bit of inflation. Also, the space that we're renting, I think, for maintenance, that's luxury office space. It's in a building where a friend of mine goes for medical care. I don't understand why it's not in a utilitarian more of a utilitarian building, because we're, I think, paying $250,000 a year now on the rent for that, for the maintenance. So, and maybe it's the wrong department I've got here, but it just seems like these expenses, we're hit with these new expenses all the time, and I don't understand. It doesn't seem to me, we don't have more people here, so I don't understand why we need to be spending all this money. If we have office space, we can fix it up. But I don't understand why no one's looking at temporary buildings. Also, it looks like Building E is, I don't know where it is, but I think it's on a hill between two golf courses. That would mean the land has some value. So I sort of don't understand why we would be putting compliance or whatever department there. Also, where will we see the space utilization study? Because I think they ran that after they decided to build. Also, who is the builder that you've been considering? I guess those would be my questions, because the bottom line is I don't know one person in the village who wants this. So at this point, I feel like we're being stonewalled, because a lot of times questions are not being answered and steamrolled. And it seems to not bother a lot of people to keep going into the reserve fund. But the reserve fund is for emergencies or catastrophic events, usually. It's not that you can't touch it at all, but it just seems to be one wild spending way after another.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Andre Torn.
Thank you very much for your contribution and the effort watching the money for us. Okay, I think that the most important thing is with the board is to watch the money that we pay as assessment. So my question is all about the money and how it's spent. We heard about savings from our CEO's reports. $500,000, $600,000, $680,000, $290,000, and the percentages that they saved. Okay, and we've seen during the past balance sheet, the revenue and expense report, there were surpluses on the balance sheet every year. But when we do the calculation of our assessment, it's all based on their estimate of how much they want, nothing with the surplus. Where are those surplus? Okay, I think one thing the board member needs to remember is that the surplus is your money. It's not VMS money. VMS doesn't own any money at all. And when they don't have when they have a surplus, it needs to go back to the board and say, we have all these surplus. We want to spend it this way. They need to get your permission to spend the surplus money. It's not their money. They don't have any money. So if you don't monitor that, we will never get any surplus in our assessment. They cannot say, oh, we spend it here, we spend there. No, they cannot. They are not allowed to do that. You have the authority. You are the boss. Okay? When there's a surplus money, extra money left, they need to get your permission to spend it, not at will, their own will. Okay? The second thing is about Building E and compared to stoplight, one of them is nice to have. The other one is must have, based on your evaluation. So the stoplight, stop sign light is nice to have. What's the benefit of it? We spend money on that. What kind of saving do we have from it? Or you guys just, I really hate to see board members just say, give them the money, give them the money. If they want the money, give them the money. Okay, please make sure it is a must-have. If Building E is a must-have, then save all the money for Building E, rather than say, everything you want, give it to you. Okay, and where do we get the money? We can charge budget, we can charge the members. Okay, make sure we are not your ATM. Okay, we spend our life, we work very hard to have those money saved for our retirement. It's not something that the board needs to just say, okay, we want to give it to you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The final member comment is an email that was sent in to us from James Quigley, and they stated, to the GRF board, I wish to bring to your attention a persistent and troubling situation here at Laguna Woods Village. The danger posed to our community by the reckless operation of golf carts by village residents. All of us who live here can plainly see that most people who operate golf carts within the village do so responsibly and with considerable care. It is the small subset of car drivers who demonstrate their disregard for the safety of others. I am among the lucky residents in the village who get frequent use of tennis courts and pickleball courts. Among us are distressingly frequent reports about close encounters and near misses with golf carts operated at excessive speed or careening suddenly around corners where pedestrians are walking. This is of particular concern at the pickleball courts, where golf carts emerge from their uphill climb adjacent to Moulton Parkway and make the curve at the far end of the courts and at the bottom of the hill by the golf course clubhouse, where carts are either arriving or departing. On more than one occasion, I have had to jump out of the way of a speeding cart. Several of my friends have had to do the same. This is unacceptable. I am hoping that the board can take some responsible action on this situation. I propose a two-pronged approach. 1, speed bumps, and 2, numerical markers on all carts. Please let me elaborate. 1, over the past year, village management installed several speed bumps at the bottom of the hill adjacent to the tennis club. This was done in response to concerns raised about carts speeding down the hill and drivers ignoring the stop signs at the bottom of the hill as they made their turn behind Clubhouse 7. Those of us who regularly use tennis courts can happily report that the speed bumps have been effective. Operators must slow down if they wish to avoid damaging their carts, and because they must slow down, they also appear to be heeding the stop signs. I believe it is necessary to install speed bumps on the hills near the pickleball courts. Due to the popularity of the pickleball, there is a growing number of people coming to and going from the courts. The absence of any obstacle impeding the movement of carts on those hills allows drivers to succumb to the temptation of increased speed, and this increases the risk to the safety of pedestrians. Speed bumps will help moderate the situation. 2, one of your board members, when I told him that friends have almost been run down, replied to me that such incidents should be reported to security. But what is to be reported, I asked? Carts do not have clear identifying markings. Yes, all carts have some form of sticker or decal, but these markings are too small to discern when a driver has whisked dangerously by and you have nothing by the color of the cart to remember. Even if speed bumps are installed, it still will leave the problem of the inability of pedestrians to report unsafe operation of golf carts elsewhere. We have routinely seen carts speeding through the parking lot by Clubhouse 7 and failing to obey the stop signs there. Over the past year, management has created a new system for the operation of lawn tractors, lawn mowers, and other small motorized lawn maintenance vehicles. After a number of close encounters reported to management about unsafe operation of these machines, management now has large, legible numbers marking each of these machine operators must sign a manifest sheet reporting their name, time, date, and machine number. This protocol makes the machine operators more accountable to the community. Operators, typically all dressed the same and driving nearly identical machines, are no longer anonymous. Their number is now clearly visible. Operators who once may have driven their machines with impunity now know that residents can report them for reckless behavior. We need to also remove the anonymity of golf cart drivers. We need to also make them accountable. I urge the board consider a new system whereby all golf carts operated in the village be affixed with identifying numbers that are clearly discernible to the average resident. While this may impose some small cost to each golf cart owner and an additional record-keeping task for the village, it will help assure that pedestrians have a way of reporting to village security the unsafe operation of golf carts. Surely some sort of license plate, sticker, or decal could be devised and required for all carts in the village. It may spare residents from possible injury. It may even save lives. Thank you very much for considering this plea. And that is all for member comments.
Thank you. At this time, I ask the board for the response to the questions or comments that was posed to the board. But there is no back and forth on this item. This is just the comments from the board. Please refrain from, engaging in discussion. At this time, who's going to respond to any of the items? Ken?
I'd like to respond to the item that Andre Trong commented on regarding the stop lights.
Okay.
Flashing lights at the top are the stop signs. What I understand that was a pilot project. That is a pilot project which is going on for some time to see whether we can elevate the safety standard in the community. I do not believe I have seen the final decision regarding whether to continue or to stop. Some people have already objected and we have considered that, and I don't think a final decision has been taken to undertake that project finally. I would like to see that what the CEO has to say in this respect.
Again, it's a pilot project that was recently launched. We have not completed the study period, so it will be returning to the SCAC with the appropriate data at the appropriate time, and I know Juanita is chair of that committee. Thank you.
6 months.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah. I've got about responses to maybe 3 items that
Okay.
we put out there.
Do as many as you want.
Yeah. First was Building E, and I do appreciate all the feelings that are out there on Building E. At this moment, they are feelings. They're not the result of analysis or anything else. We're in a process right now. Nothing has been decided. 0 has been decided. The information that people have, some of it is, I'm going to say, on target, but it is still under consideration. Just so everybody understands what Building E is. Building E is a maintenance building where security was in. It was built 47 years ago. One of GRF's responsibilities, whether it is a building, a clubhouse, a swimming pool, is to reinvest where necessary in the amenities and the facilities. That's a responsibility. We don't always want to do that. We find other ways to accommodate what that building or facility did, but we still have to consider it. We're still in consideration. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I've heard space utilization. We've done that. We've done that. So we're in the process now of doing our analysis. And by the way, the mutuals are involved in that analysis. It's not just us. The mutuals are involved in doing the analysis and coming up with a solution based on the analysis, and we'll share that with everybody. It's not something that's being done in secret. Building E has been an issue for 2 years. If anybody has been able to go to the M&C, the building was in a deteriorating situation for a long time. It was not rebuildable. It was not rebuildable. It's 47 years old. It's over in the next to broadband, I guess it is. So it's not something we go into and say, look, let's just spend the money. Believe me, all of us are residents, and the per man per month comes out of our pockets too. And by the way, the salary that we get here, It's actually reverse. Okay, most of us spend a lot of gas money and everything else to participate in the governance here. But I do appreciate people actually coming up with, helping us to get and have informed decisions. Not just be against something. Understand it takes a lot more to be for something than to be against something. So, but no decision has been made, and we are going through a very, very, I think, complete analysis with all kinds of views. Every single view I heard out there is actually represented on the advisory committee. Okay? And we're discussing it. We're having very active discussions on it. So just rest assured that you may not like the outcome, you may not agree with the outcome, but the process of making that decision is a valid and good and tried and true process of making those decisions. And you'll be aware of what that decision is and have a chance to weigh in on it. The second thing that I heard Mr. Torm say, that the most important thing is to save money. And I would disagree with that. The most important thing is to invest the money wisely, which means combination of saving money and investing where necessary. We've had to invest in in the past, clubhouses. We've invested in broadband. We've invested in a lot of things that we now take for granted and was part of the attraction that brought us here. I mean, all of the things that we're now saying, oh, we don't want to spend money on, are the things that brought us here. And we try our best to make very, very informed decisions whenever we have to make, especially major decisions. But it's not, if we were one-dimensional and say we just want to save money, we would never be able to continue to attract the people like yourselves that come to this community. It is not the house that people buy. It's in my view, it is the amenities and the social construct that creates for us, that brings us all to this community. And if you ask yourself, why did you say I want to come here? And the HOA being the amount that it is, you ask yourself, why did you come here? And that's because of the amenities that you envision yourself taking advantage of, the shared cost that everybody takes advantage of. So it's, it's tough being in the seat and watch everybody I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. And I realize it's some of it is not from the information that you have. But anyway, the last thing was the budget. And I would say come to the budget meeting. All your budget questions, come to the budget meeting, and we'll share all of that. There was another question, and I'll just answer that right off the bat. As to the surplus, when you go through your budgets, go through the Green Book. That Green Book, by the way, is online, available at on the website. You go into Documents, Finance, and go to something called the Green Books. And you will see every single piece of information you'd ever wanted about the financial information you've ever wanted about this community. So when I hear people say, well, gee, I didn't know, and you look at the broadcast open meetings, you look at all the financial data, you look at all the information that is available to us, if you don't know, it's because at that point in time you weren't interested. Because I know before I joined the board, I was able to look at the detailed governance structure, the trust, everything associated with this community. I was able to look up before I decided to join this board, including the financials. So in terms of the surplus, that surplus, if you look at the budget, for the last 3 years, there's been, I think, a $12, $8, and now coming up a $5 per matter per month surplus returned to the community from GRF. It's there. It's in the budget. It's in the budget. So I get it. Everybody's not going to be as informed, but there are, we hear the complaints, and that's, that's what we're here for to some degree. On the other hand, there's perhaps 17,000 people that are out playing golf, enjoying swimming, playing bocce ball, and doing the other things that this community allows us to do. And so we have to listen to the complaints. I know. Nancy's saying, yeah, there I go again. Okay. But it bothers me. It bothers me when I hear nothing but complaints. Nothing but complaints. And I realize being in a leadership position, that's what you're going to hear. I get that. But there's a lot that's good about this community. And so I'll just, I had to say it. I'll shut up and let the meeting go.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a couple of things. I'd like to start with Mr. Quigley. I hear your concerns, and I really suggest that you come to our next SCAC Security Community Access Committee, and let's talk about the golf carts and speed bumps and things like that. We have gone over those in the past. There were a couple of speed bumps, as you've done, that were put in different places. Maybe there need to be more. I know from my golf cart driving people, they don't like them. And so there's a real group of people against it as well. As in anything in this community, you never find unanimity. There's always 2, 3, or 4 sides to every question. Some of them are more vocal than the others, but we're more than happy to discuss this with you, so I really suggest that you come to our next meeting. Georgina, nice to see you here, and I just want to say you really don't understand reserve funds, and you need to do a little research back into that. Our reserve fund is not for emergencies and catastrophic events. That's our contingency fund. Our reserve fund, which is the bulk of our reserve funds, are scheduled over the next 30 years for all of the things that we anticipate that we're going to have to change, update, whatever. And it's very carefully laid out. And again, back to the Green Book. The other one is Chris. Thank you, as always, and I am the biggest advocate. Anybody who lives alone and does not have some sort of a med alert button, watch, comes in all different forms, you're just asking for trouble. I know from experience, I've seen somebody else with a cast on their arm there. I broke my arm earlier this spring on a fall. I live alone. I needed this button. I was at home. You weren't. So I thank you, and I thank the foundation and social services. They have a list. They will walk you through. They will help you get a med alert, whatever type thing that you want. And if you can't afford it, they will help you through the foundation. So those are some of the great benefits that we have here in our village. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Oh, go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I want to say that we looked at what the Austin company provided, and none of us were very pleased with what came out of that utilization study. Myself, I pushed back, said, go sharpen your pencils, because this is not going to fly. I know that, Building E, being in the middle of a workforce area there, it's difficult. I don't know what the terms of the trusts are as to what you can do with that. Someone asked a question about the number of employees. That I know that we went somewhere from around 750. We're going to somewhere around 690 or something like that.
I think this is not the time to get into a detailed discussion about Building E. I think you're talking about information that doesn't have to be discussed at the moment.
But the thing of it is the if there is a reduction in workforce, you see that there's some need for reduction of workspace. So maybe I don't know what the future of Building E is going to be, if there's going to be a need for Building E when the dust settles. But Building E, I'm not seeing a $6 million price tag on that. I wanted to say something about the slip, trip, and fall. Number one injury cause in industry, as well in the workforce, as well as in the community. And I just want to encourage all of us that we have to have some element of a flexibility program for yourself, that you've got the balance and the limberness to be able to navigate. The CEO report about the asbestos, that's a big thing when it comes to paying in insurance claims. Reducing that time reduces the cost of getting insurance claims, and eventually that comes back as a reduction of costs to premiums when it comes to dealing with that, that they can automate or speed that process up. Mr. Quigley, Jim is cool. I've witnessed accidents and injuries on that curve coming up from the 9th hole past the pickleball court. They need to accelerate to go up that hill, and consequently, there's pedestrians right there walking to get to those other two courts that are on the outside, and so every day there's people walking by there. I know the speed bumps would help. I could see that being good, and I know there's a lot of other private communities that do have like a little license plate tag on the golf carts that you can see who they are, and at any rate, that's a possibility that ought to be considered. That's all I had. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to remind everybody the budget meeting that we keep referring to is next Monday, August 7th at 9:30 a.m. It will be held here in the boardroom, and it will be televised. Thank you.
Go ahead, Bonnie.
I'll try to talk. One of the things about the lease, someone made a comment in regards to the lease and why we are right next door in order to provide efficiency to our workers, but it was competitively reviewed. Our staff went out and checked the prices basically for what competitive lease. Oh, I can't talk. I apologize to all of you. Anyway, we got the best price we could possibly get, and also provide proficiencies, for VMS. So it's not luxury for them, I can tell you. They're all squished together, and just trying to work as efficient as they can in a temporary situation. But they had to get out of Building E because it was OSHA, would not have allowed us to continually to have employees in Building E, so we had to get them out. We had to do something. And Maxine asked a question, and it's a question that everybody asked. Does GRF actually own the property? GRF, it's just what everybody says. GRF owns the property. We have title to it because of business. But if GRF should ever go away, those properties will be divided among the mutuals appropriately. So we don't really own them, we just have title. I don't know how I can explain that further, but this was done by past GRF boards that did this because of business purposes, and they took them out of the trust, and they, made sure that we had title to it. So thank you.
Thank you. Elsie?
I just had a couple of things. Thank you. Is it Sir Chair? If it's Madam Chair, is it Sir Chair? I'll just say Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
No comment, Elsie, go ahead.
Just a couple of things. A lot of the comments I had were made better by other people, but Jim, you got to back me on this one because I'm not 100% positive, but I'm almost positive. But to put about building E and whether it's 3 million or 6 million or no million, either way, because of the nature of our reserves, which incidentally, this kind of goes back to another question, just because something says when you read on a budget, an estimate, like say it says $50,000 and you're going, $50,000? Well, those amounts are like just estimates and they're like placeholders within the reserves, because the reserves is like a big old fat savings account and it's calculated on a lot of math that I don't want to, algorithms is what I was looking for. And over 30 years, these are estimates about how much it's going to cost us to repair the roofs. We have to repair the roofs. We have to maintain the roofs. We hopefully maintain the everything, and the mutuals have this too. We have to retain the buildings in GRF. You have to maintain the residences in the mutuals. Well, all that is estimated over a 30-year period, and so then we squeeze it back down to a per man or per month that's related to the reserves. So the long and the short of that is that we have never had to pay special assessments, and in a lot of communities, most communities, that's how they pay for roofing, that's how they pay for painting, that's how they pay to replace the watering systems. Like, okay, all you guys owe $1,000 right now. Pay up. And they can enforce those and they can get the money to do whatever. Well, we don't have that system. We have the reserve system. So that was a long way around, but it's my understanding that, say, we replace or do something else to house our staff, which we're also responsible for. You can't just... But however we do it, it does not raise would not raise in this case your per man or per month, because it comes from the. Yeah, did you want to say something, Mr. Beckett? I mean,
no,
I see
we are
making,
not. We are not engaging. Thank you.
No,
we are
okay.
Not engaging. Thank you.
Just that's really not. I don't make hand signals when you're talking. Come on. So that was, I just wanted to reassure people a little bit on that one. Is that correct, Jim, about it wouldn't increase just that part, would not increase the per
Yeah,
man per month?
we generally try to manage the reserves so there's no huge, that the per man per month is consistent throughout the years. That's the purpose of it. That's not always possible, but that's the goal.
So in other words, that money isn't going to be divvied up and put into people's HOA, the whole, like say it was, I don't want to use any, never mind.
Yeah.
It's not going to come out like, oh, we have to write a check now. It's built into this reserve system. So that was one thing. Oh, and another thing about somebody I heard recently said, well, my house was built longer ago than Building E, and my house is just fine, or their manor is just fine, so what's the big deal? Well, one of the problems was that, and anybody can understand this, is Building E was built, and God knows why, or what was why it probably was to save a few bucks, frankly. That building was built smack onto the asphalt that was already there. Okay, now think if your house was built on asphalt. Think how hot asphalt gets in the summertime. Gooey, nasty. And needless to say, it's caused settling, which of course causes, and the thing to remember about Building E that's also really critical is it's our emergency communication center as well. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out and I'm not talking about, because as we've said before, there's been no decision made at all. It's a constant exploration and feedback from the mutuals, and there's been a lot of collaboration on this. And I wanted to thank Chris and Maxine for their consistently positive input, even when they're bringing up a question. So thank you very much, ladies, both of you.
Okay. Jim, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Eagle.
I'm sure what the last thing you want is more detail, so I would like to just thank those people that come and speak on costs. I mean, it's a very valuable thing that you do, and I hope that you will show up for the budget meeting next Monday. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Anybody? Jim, you had anything? You said you. Okay, I just have one comment. Great questions. There was like 7 or 8 of them today. A lot of comments, a lot of concern, a lot of issues that was brought up. But at the same time, personally, I heard a lot of hearsay, misinformation, and rumors also. Please, it's our job to get ourselves educated about what's going on in this community and not just accept hearsay and the rumors. I heard that, I did this. We have committees here that tackles these issues every week. There are CAD committee, there are finance committee, there are mobility committees, there are many committees, and people spend hours and hours to discuss these issues. For example, if we need information about the budget, just participate. On August 7th, we have the budgeting process. Come in, bring your question, and get involved and ask those questions. If you want to know how many people are going to be, how many employees are going to have for the next year, that's going to be discussed right there. And that's the proper avenue to get the proper information about the next year budget. If you want to get, issues with the buildings, go to the M&C meeting or go to the, please get involved and educate. It's our job to educate ourselves about our community. The more education, the more information we have, the rumors and misinformation and hearsay is not going to be the guiding document for us. It's going to be the facts. If I ask our members, what is Building E? Probably 90% or more of people don't even know where it's located, what the situation is, what are the legality issue with that, what's the responsibility of the GRF in regard to the employees, in regard to the facilities. When you realize all of that, what are these issues that are intertwined? It's not just one. I don't want Building E, but there are hundreds other steps that need to be taken if you want to take out the Building E and not build it or destroy it or whatever. Are we legal? Can we do that under the trust? What are the options? What is the cost over 5, 10, 20 years if we don't do that? All of those need to be considered. Those comes with getting involved and knowing what it is, rather than just making a statement, which is fine. I love it. I done myself. If I'm sitting over there, I'll probably get up and say, I don't want this. But I beg you, please get involved with these committees and bring your information, bring your input, and help us to do a better job for this community. We are just like you. I live here. I don't want to pay extra money, next year. No. But let's get the fact. Can we do that? With everything that's happening around us, what is the best thing that we can do? So I beg you to get involved with the committee, and let's all of us make that as a sense of educating ourselves about what's going on in our community. And I thank you for all the inputs today, and I appreciate that. And please participate in our committee meetings. Those are where the issues are discussed and dissected, and some decisions are made and then brought up to the board. When it comes to the board, it's on the approval or disapproval. All the work done at the committee level. And please participate. Thank you. I think I'll get off my soapbox now.
Excuse me, just one more comment. GRF is having a town hall on August 22nd. Clubhouse 2 from 3 to 5. We invite everybody to come and ask your questions there.
Okay. All right, I guess we are done with item 9, correct? Okay, now we go to the consent calendar. All the matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event an item is removed from the consent calendar by members or of the board, such item shall be subject of further discussion and action by the board. Okay, recommendation from Finance Committee. A. Who's...
You can read that. You read that.
Okay. Consistent with its statutory obligation, a subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one other board member reviewed and approved preliminary Golden Rain Foundation financial for the month of June 2023. By this vote, ratified that such a review be confirmed in this month's board members' open session meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Huh?
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I asked the motion. Got the motion. Second. Any comments or concern? All for it. Everyone? Any dissent? It is approved by majority, or by unanimous. Okay. Now we go to unfinished business. Update committee appointment. I guess I asked Skillman.
Yes. All right, we have a few changes to the committee report appointments. This is Resolution 9023XX, GRF committee appointments. As of today, August 1st, 2023, I'm just going to read the changes. In the Information Technology, the ITech Committee, Mary Simon, who has left United, is taken off, and Sue Quam is put on in her place. In Maintenance and Construction Committee, again, Mary Simon is off, and Cash Akrakar is on. In the Clubhouse Renovation Ad Hoc Committee, Mary Simon is off, and Allison Bach is on. And in Security and Community Access Committee, Cash Akrakar is off, and Vida Kayla is on. She's their newest member in United. So those are the changes, and I move this resolution.
Second. Any comments?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, on just a question, really. I don't see any, oh, Allison's here. I had understood on the traffic hearings, when they had the elections over at United, about 6 weeks ago or whenever it was, and that new member, Vidya Kale, I thought she was going to be on the traffic hearings, and Pearl Lee was going to step down. That was what they said. Is that?
I don't think we have that information.
That's not what we got from them.
Because I noticed that
She was put on Security and Community Access.
She hit this
instead.
time, yeah, because actually last month she was already assigned to these committees, but, you know, it was too late to get the stuff in, and so now that's what I was waiting for. I don't, do you know anything about that, Allison?
No, we have to go into the notes, meeting notes to check.
And again, I love working with Pearl. I'm certainly not complaining. I just, okay, thank you. I guess not. I have nothing to say.
Okay. All right, any other concerns? The vote is all agreed with the changes? Yeah. That's good. Okay.
May I have a comment on this appointment? Committee appointment?
Go ahead.
I would like to see something very important with these committee assignments, which is the directives that you're giving to VMS and and expect them to accomplish, and what are the oversights you're going to have to accomplish all those directives. What I've seen so far are all the project plans. We will do this one, we'll do this one, but what is the purpose? Where are you leading BMS to? Okay, that's very important. The directives and oversights, that's your board members' responsibility. We are not just approving projects based on their recommendation. Will they fulfill your directives? For example, you want to improve quality. Will they improve quality?
Yeah,
If you want to save money, will they save money? If they cut waste, will they cut waste?
I don't want to cut you, but we're talking about appointment. We are not
Right.
talking about
For
the
each committee,
responsibility of the committee. So
Yeah.
please don't mix things up, because that, all we're talking about the appointment. I thought you have question about somebody been appointed in a committee, but the responsibility of the committee is not at issue right now.
Okay.
The issue is if the people, we are approving the people that was submitted from United and Third, that are on this committee, we approving that, that's it, not the
Okay,
committee
can we
responsibility.
get information as far as where the directives the board is assigned them to do and what kind of oversight?
Okay, those
they're
are
gonna
the
perform?
charter of each committee, and you can
Charter is
participate
a
in those
guideline.
committee
It doesn't
meetings.
have a
And
vision.
Thank you. This is not what we're discussing right now. Thank you. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I just want to correct something. The specific oversight of VMS is the VMS board, not the HOA boards. So what the VMS provides us with a service. We want to get the best service for our dollar, and so we ask that, and they do their best to provide it for us. But in terms of specific oversight of VMS, that's the VMS board. And I think we have to be cognizant of the governance structure here. VMS is a separate corporation, and they have their own corporate board. It is not an HOA board. It is a corporate board. So when someone says that we have directives and we tell them what to do and when to do and how to do, that's not really the truth.
Yeah.
We ask them to provide the best service they can, and we can always demand as much of that service or work with them to get the best service. But we do not have a direct oversight of the VMS company.
Okay, thank you. So the appointment, please, no back and forth, because we have a lot of things to do today. I appreciate that. A what? We're talking about the appointment of the committee, nothing else. And we approve that, the committee appointment, that's all. We are not talking about the committee's responsibility at this time. Okay, we are done with, we go to the part B, entertain a motion to approve garden center veggie pot rental fee. July initial notification to any date notification for members' review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. You want to read them?
Certainly, it's Resolution 9023XX. Garden Center 2 Veggie Pots rental. Oops, gotta have a microphone, sorry about that. Garden Center 2 Veggie Pots rental fee. Whereas Resolutions 9012-132 and 9018-03 and 9012-12 and 9016-18 established guidelines for shared costs and fees. Certain fees can be imposed upon users of various recreation facilities to control crowding, to mitigate overusage, and to recover operating costs. And whereas the garden center fees administered by the Golden Ring Foundation of Laguna Woods Board of Directors adhere to the shared cost guidelines established in Resolution 9012-132, certain fees can be imposed users of various recreation facilities in order to control crowding and minimize overusage and recover operating costs. Whereas 5 veggie pots were purchased in order to serve those who wish to garden but are unable to manage physically tending a larger garden plot. And whereas staff recommends a $50 annual fee for veggie pots at Garden Center 2. And whereas on the June 8th, 2023 CAC meeting, the committee recommended the proposed staff recommendation of $50 annual fee for the veggie pods in Garden Center 2. Now therefore be it resolved, August 1st, 2023, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the proposed $50 annual rental fee for veggie pods at Garden Center 2. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this recommendation. I move this resolution.
Do we have a second? Any comments, questions? Okay. Are they have a hole in them? Okay. Any, all for it? Any dissent? Okay. Approved by unanimous vote. The next one is entertain a motion to approve pricing rate for electric vehicle charging station. July initial notification, revised August, postponed 28 days notification for the members' review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. Would you please?
Okay, Resolution 9023XX. This is the pricing rates for electric vehicle charging stations. Whereas the board recognizes the need to amend the pricing rates for electric vehicle charging stations as necessary, and whereas the establishment of these rates are impacted by the electric rates adopted by Southern California Edison, now therefore be it resolved on September 5th, 2023, that the board hereby approves the following pricing rates for electric vehicles charging stations effective upon adoption of this resolution for the period between September 2023 and September 2024. Level 2 chargers will be 31 cents for members and employees, 34 cents for others, and $2 an hour parking rates over $4, over 4 hours. Level 3 chargers, the faster ones, are again $31 cents for members and employees, 44 for other users, and there's a $2 an hour fee after 1 hour. So you can't just leave your car there where nobody else can use the chargers. Reserved further that the next revision to the pricing rates for electric vehicles to be approved by the board is in August 2024. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move this resolution.
Anybody second?
I second it.
Thank you. Any question, comments, concern? None? Anybody? Oh, go ahead.
Hey, just out of curiosity, how do you assess the parking fee? Does that come as part of the metering?
Metering.
Good morning, directors. So the assessment of the parking fee is automatic. It's programmed into the system that as soon as you exceed the 4 hours for the level 2 charger, for the 1 hour on the fast charger, it automatically charges the parking fee.
Okay. Any other question, comments? If not, anybody against? If no hand goes up, that means unanimous vote. Okay, that's approved. Thank you. Number 12, no new business. Is there any new business that any of the directors want to put on the agenda?
We can't already approve the agenda. We can't. We've
No,
already
I
approved
mean
the
for the
agenda.
future. Okay. All right. So that's done. Number 13 is, does the board want to take 5-minute break or you want to continue? Okay, we're going to take a water break, 5 minutes. We'll meet back here at 11. agenda is committee reports. We start with reports from Finance Committee, Director Hopkins.
Okay, I think first is the treasurer report, so I'm going to start with the treasurer report. And first slide, thank you. This first chart includes, as usual, all revenues and expenses, including those designated for reserves, including investment income, transfer facilities fees, and the GRF reserve portion of the HOA fees. It also includes the contingency portion of the HOA fees. So through the reporting period through June 30th, 2023, GRF had a net revenue of $2,420,000 with a total revenue of $26,549,000 and a total expense of $24,129,000. GRF was better than budget by $1,016,000 with total revenues coming in at $1.3 million better than anticipated revenue. And that was primarily due to unrealized gain on investments. This was partially offset by expenses being worse than budget, okay, again, and that was offset by the selling off of poor performing investments. And we'll go through more detail on the investments later on at the end of this presentation. And that caused a realized loss in the expenses. It's kind of a misnomer to talk about losses and gains in two separate buckets because at the end of the day, it's the consolidated losses and gains. Now, slide 2. This next chart displays the operating fund, and that which excludes the non-operating revenues, expenses, and depreciation. This report shows a favorable variance of $781,000 through the reporting period, with expenses better than budget of $1,173,000, and that's offset by revenue worse than budget, which is $392,000. Slide 3, please. Now, this slide reflects the current market value of the GRF Reserve's discretionary investment portfolio and its original market value at the time of inception. The current market value of the GRF Reserve portfolio, or as of June 30th, is $18,770,000, and that's compared to a value at inception of $19,031,000. The year-to-date market value increased by $561,000, or 3.1%, and decreased by $261,000 since the inception. In June, the market value actually increased by $85,000. Slide 4, please. Of the $18,770,000 portfolio mentioned in slide 3, $15,999,000 is held with our reserves portfolio. In addition to discretionary investments, the reserve fund assets includes non-discretionary investments of $15,123,000, with payables of $600,000 and payables and others with a total of $686,000, and that results in a reserve balance of almost $33 million. Slide 5, please. Now back to the operating fund, which has a more significant impact on HO investment. This slide shows our most significant operating variances by category, with the green bars representing favorable variances and the orange bars representing unfavorable variances. As it comes to employee compensation and the related expenses, there's a $950,000 positive variance, and it's primarily due to vacancies and the continuing vacancies in general services, janitorial positions, security services, gate ambassadors, and various other open positions which are constantly being recruited for. When you look at material and supplies, that's due to an over-accrual in the prior year, and the fleet maintenance materials that are expected to be replaced, such as tires, etc. What an accrual is an accounting phenomenon where you you accrue for anticipated expenses, meaning you anticipate expenses that to apply to the following, the previous year. And so when they do not materialize, or that expense does not materialize, you reverse that expenditure. That creates a variance, a positive variance in the current year. And then the other operating expenses is $159,000, and that's due to, again, timing of staff support. So while that is a positive variance, it's really due to timing of the expenses in terms of the budget and the actual expenditures. When it comes to broadband services, the unfavorable variances, broadband services are $200,000 under due to late payment of advertising revenues from the sponsor for Village Breeze magazine. And that's, again, just late payments. It's not that we won't collect the payments. Golf, when it comes to, also included in that is golf facilities, and that's $152,000 lower due to rounds of golf being less than last year, less than budget, due to inclement weather this year. Slide 6, please. Now, this slide shows our resources, our sources of revenue other than assessments, such as fees and rentals. To date, we received just over $4,774,000 of non-assessment revenue. By category, we can see that our largest revenue is broadband services, and that includes the internet, set-top boxes, ad insertions, and premium channels. That's followed by golf revenue, clubhouse rentals, and event fees. Other revenue includes class fees, additional occupancy fees, etc. And so you can see that profile really doesn't change. That is essentially what we can expect on an ongoing basis in terms of the profile of our non-assessment revenue. Slide 7, please. This chart, again, as usual, our largest operating expense is compensation, followed by cable and programming fees. Of the $20 million, excluding depreciation, these two categories account for 72% of the total operating expense. Insurance, professional, and legal fees and outside services make up the remaining 28%. If you consider that cable and programming are offset by broadband revenue, compensation accounts for 69% of the net expense, while insurance, utilities, and outside services account for 31%. Okay. Next slide. The reserve and restricted funds adjusted balances are shown. Starting with the first column on the left, the reserve funds have a combined ending balance of $39 million. The restricted fund balances have an ending balance of $4 million. Included in this total are contributions received this year through assessments, the trust facility fees, and investment earnings. The second column shows the work in process of $6.3 million for the reserve, and reflecting the amounts paid for projects that are not yet completed. The third column represents the adjusted fund balance, which is $32.8 million for the reserve and $3.9 million for the restricted account, which is the contingency fund. Number 9, please. This shows our resale history, and I won't go through all the details. It's just to say we're still behind 2021 and considerably behind 2022. I also have heard, I guess one of our board members recited last year that also our inventory is down considerably, so there are not as many units for sale. Next chart, please. This chart shows, chart 10 shows that the listing of where the reserve money is committed. Of the $20.3 million appropriated by the board for various projects, the remaining encumbrances to the reserve funds are $13.9 million. And that's primarily for the purchase and replacement of equipment and facilities. Restricted funds had a total appropriation of $98,000, and therefore the remaining encumbrance on that is $20,000, and that was for the moving of the bus benches. And here we talk about a little bit about the reserve, where we show that there's about a $13.9 million encumbrance on the reserve. And keep in mind that our reserve is essentially $33 million. The balance is $33 million. So that's essentially our savings account. And so we look at that. We anticipate having to spend, from time to time, relatively large amounts to reinvest in facilities or amenities, etc. It's a little scary because we're not used to spending that kind of money. But it is something that previous boards have had to do, and we enjoy the fruits of what they spent in the past. And the last chart, when we compare our adjusted fund balances to the historical balances, we can see that our fund balances, specifically our reserves, have continuously grown. Okay, again, that's anticipated in some cases of one-time expenditures that have been saved for over time. That's the purpose of the reserve fund. That's why we don't have special assessments here. And then you can see our contingency fund also has grown throughout the years. All right. I wanted to, thank you. I just wanted to spend maybe 5 minutes on this next chart, because most of us, we've seen it before. I didn't show it last month or last meeting, because I thought we essentially knew what direction we were heading. But just after the United meeting, I got several phone calls and an email or two where it was announced that GRF had lost $2 million on its investment portfolio. And I was really baffled as to where that would come from. But so I turned to the United meeting, and sure enough, the United representative on the Finance Committee reported that that we had lost, GRF had lost $2 million. So I thought I would explain again what this portfolio's performance has been, not only year to date, but inception to date. So we've been, I guess for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, we've been measuring ourselves, and this chart is relatively, even the chart 3 that I normally show, really shows inception, starts with inception, because when we invested in bond funds. In fact, all three, the mutuals as well as GRF, invested in bond funds at that time. For reasons other than investment, Third Mutual got out sometime before December 2020, and both United and GRF remained in these investment funds. Now, I won't go through the detail of bond funds, but bond funds react to interest rate changes very slowly. Treasuries, direct treasuries, can make the adjustments within 3 months, 6 months, or 11 months, depending on the nature of the treasurer. But all three of us, were in bond funds. Bond funds react slowly, both going up and going down. So back in 2019, all of the boards decided to do bond funds. Why? Because at that time, bond treasuries were at a low interest rate, and the bond funds were outperforming the treasuries. Well, lo and behold, in 2021, 2022, the Federal Reserve, for the first time, for the most rapid in its history, went up 5% in 1 year. Bond funds can't react that fast. So our investment advisor, Sageview, said, hey, look, we kind of missed the window, but your yield is steady, and so you just have to allow your funds to reach a maturity level until at such time we can optimize where the interest rate is going. Once we optimize, we'll get out of that and join the treasuries, okay? And so we depended on our Sageview to do that, and we As a result of that, we've actually optimized, coming back, we've actually optimized our returns. And so what this chart is meant to do, if you go back to December 2022, and you can see on a year-to-date basis, we lost $1.3 million that year. Again, that's market value. The yield is still, the financial yield is still there. But the market value, if we had to sell them, that's the only thing, if we had to sell them, we would have lost $1.3 million. We didn't have to sell them, so we didn't. We held on to them. And as a result of holding on to them, as you can see, through March 23, we started to get a gain in market value. And then somewhere around April, our market advisors said, look, it's time to get out, because you can now, by getting out, selectively getting out of the funds, selectively, you can now optimize your return and your yield. So that's exactly what we did. We followed that instruction. So if you look at the bottom half of here, in October 2022, we were at the lowest value of our portfolio. And by the way, at that time, that's when United decided to sell its portfolio. We decided that we would hold on and try to optimize. As a result of that strategy of optimization, in March 2023, and by the way, this is after no sales, just keeping our portfolio, our market value increased by $679,000. Now, while that's a market increase, and it's a 3.8% on the value, but it's annualized, it's more than a 9% increase. Then we started to sell that portfolio and move into treasuries. This again optimized our return. The result is that as of yesterday, our value of our portfolio is $18,840,000, or $1,060,000 higher than our lowest, which was just about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, in October. And based on the predicted profile and predicted return, which is now somewhat predictable because we're just depending on financial yield in treasuries, we're predicting somewhere between 80 and 83 days, which is probably going to be faster, that we will be back up to the 2019 balance, and by the end of the year, we'll have a net positive to the inception. It's been a long trip, but I think we've informed everybody along the way. I think on a personal level, I think if we had to do it, it was hard to be able to explain the valuation process and what this mark-to-market is and all these accounting phenomena and all this other stuff, because most of us don't care and don't know and don't care. But it always looks bad, and it's always difficult to explain to us ordinary people, this is how the market performs. And that our principal was never in danger unless we had to sell. And if you notice, this portfolio value of, let's call it $19 million, is only a portion of the $32 million we have in reserve. So we always had the cash flow required for any eventuality that would come up in our reserve. So never did we ever look at having to dig into our portfolio to meet our reserve cash requirements. So I hope that didn't, that's for you more out there, and I know the board knows most of this, but this is something that I think is necessary. I won't do this again, but I think it's necessary given all the misinformation that gets out there. I'm not sure why there is a lot of information, but it gets out there anyway. And I think we've been fully on board and fully open with what has gone on with respect to our investment portfolio.
Can I ask you a question on that? I'm just trying to understand better, so maybe members also have the same question. If we sold our investment on December 22nd, we would have actual loss of $1.3 million. And if we put everything in treasury bond with 5% return, which wasn't 5% at that time.
No.
Now, a year later, we would get 5%, which was about, $600,000. So we would be around,
In answer to your question, we would not have been able to equal the market increase through a ordinary yield, financial yield.
yeah, that's what I'm
Okay?
trying to decide.
Because the market value, I don't want to get into too much detail, but the market value of our portfolio at the time would have shoots up proportionately because of its, not only because of its safety, but because it has made a huge adjustment to the current interest rates. So where the market value of our portfolio was just starting to grow, but it grows quicker at the early stages of its adjustment than it does at the later stages. And so what you see is a curve that levels off in terms of its growth.
That means if they haven't reached their maturity and you try to do sale, it's a fire sale.
Yeah,
You
it's a fire
actually
sale.
get a lower value because it's not at maturity.
Exactly.
So, but what you said you did is that, or we did, we let it, some of them mature, and at the maturity, we unload them, which is what got the best value.
Exactly, and we depended on our investment advisor to do that because the investment advisor sees it daily.
Yeah.
You know, we see it monthly. We actually have the ability to see it daily, but we're not the experts. And so our investment advisor is going to optimize. He also knows what's going on within the funds. They talk to these fund managers on a consistent basis. They know what their strategies are. They know what they're doing. So we want to depend on, especially something this unique, we want to depend on that investment advisor. And I have to say that, we've come out a lot better than had we followed the initial advice of from outsiders to do a fire sale in October.
I hope
we would have lost.
that resolves the issue. I
We
hope.
would have lost approximately $500,000 in opportunity had we sold what we were encouraged to sell.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, I guess, are you going to talk about the Treasury report also and the Finance Committee report?
Yeah, at the Finance Committee, let me see my report here. I just printed it out. Yeah. Well, at the Finance Committee, we reviewed, what did we review?
We just did that.
Oh, well. I was so well prepared for this, I forgot my Finance Committee. Oh, maybe this is it.
Oh, well.
I think the report's in there. Let me see if I can, if you want to go past me and come back.
Okay.
So I can.
All right. We go to the Community Activity Meeting, Director Horton.
Thank you. As for what's going on in CAC, we got a donation of $3,000 to support the mini horse, Sebastian. I wanted to say that the July 4th was a rousing success, thanks to the Recreation Department. Tom McCrae has reported that the golf course is in great shape and grass is growing on the driving range. On a personal note, I'd like to add that there are 250 clubs, and we have archery to Zumba. We live in a country club, folks. Take advantage. We have crafts over at Building 4, or Clubhouse 4. There's something for everybody here. So I just hope that more people start taking advantage. August 10th is the next CAC meeting. It's going to be at 1:30 in the boardroom. We're going to discuss the operating rules for Clubhouse 4. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Orton. Are you going to discuss the sound system, your committee meeting, because there was a concern or there was a question? Are those also in your committee or is on your agenda so people can, no?
It's not on my agenda.
Oh,
No.
it's, okay.
It has to be approved by, it's in the 2024 budget.
Oh, okay, so, all right,
It's-
all right. I
it's-
just want to make
it's
sure
just-
the question came up,
Yeah.
so.
Well, that's the difference between being on the budget and being approved.
Okay.
Yeah, and we explain all the time that capital budgets are allocations. It's basically saying, hey, it's come up for consideration. There's a range of things that need to be done before it actually makes a firm decision. But based on what we know and understand, it could cost up to 500.
Yeah.
It could be 100.
You allocate
We
money,
don't
yeah.
know.
Okay. All right, I guess we go to report of landscaping committee, Director Skillman.
Thank you. Landscape Committee does not meet every month. Our last meeting was May 10th, and I gave a report on that last month. Our CEO gave a great report this morning on the cost reductions and the efficiencies that our landscape committee have been working on and have achieved for us. And our next meeting is August 22nd at 1:30 in the boardroom. And we will have a report then on the irrigation project, which is almost completed.
Thank you. The report of maintenance and construction, that's me. The last meeting that we had was in June 14, which everything have been reported. Our next meeting is August 9 in the boardroom and a virtual meeting. Report of the clubhouse. Director Egan.
We've had no meeting. I think that guy is in the process of getting the initial bids now on the work on Clubhouse 1.
Yeah, we're hoping sometimes latter part of August we have the information available to us. That's what you're looking at, okay? Report of media and communication, Director Melvin is okay. So.
Hello, I'm not Joan Milliman.
Okay.
Thank you. The report from the, the Media and Communications Committee they met on July 17th, 2023. The staff reported that workflow continues to increase and that all deadlines are being met. The most recent edition of the Village Breeze mailed 2 weeks ago. Additional copies are always available at clubhouses and community centers, the Village Library. New resident orientations are ongoing. Average attendance is 25 new members per session. The docent tours are also ongoing. Staff is in production on a video tour of the village that will be posted on the village website. Subscriptions to premium cable television channels continue to drop as more residents are adopting to the use of direct streaming services. There has been a decrease in the number of internet users in the lowest speed category, while the higher speed offerings are showing growth. Trends in cable television use and internet speed increases are keeping in line with the facts that are driving research for upgrading state-of-the-art technology to the village. And that's all they have on the, I guess their next meeting is September 18th, 2023 at 1:30 in the boardroom and as a virtual meeting.
Okay. The website ad hoc committee, is that you again?
Yes, I have that for Joan. Please get better, Joan. The ad hoc committee for the website met and voted to endorse the selection of the vendor for the new website project. The MAC and the GRF Finance Committee followed with endorsements as well. The GRF approved the selection at its July closed meeting, and VMS Purchasing Department is currently in the process of completing a contract with the vendor. Let's see here. This contract is also being reviewed by legal as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The broadband ad hoc committee?
Yes, I have that for Joan as well. The Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, we last met on July 25th. The committee has completed its review of the draft RFI to be distributed to potential suppliers and vendors as part of the committee's research. The draft is now with the broadband group, the industry consultant being used to advise the committee for input.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, report of security and community access, Director Skillman.
Mobility and vehicles.
Oh, I'm sorry, the report of mobility and vehicle, Director Abingdon.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Mobility and Vehicles Committee meeting met on June the 7th, and it was reported on at the July meeting. The next meeting will be August 23rd, 2023 at 1:30 in this boardroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we'll go to the Security and
Security and
Community
Community Access
What?
Committee.
I have August 23rd written here. Michaela, am I?
And then V is tomorrow. Here's the agenda.
Oh, you know what? I can't read. Please excuse me. You're absolutely right. Nice catch there. Somebody was listening. In the report of the mobility and, that was a test. Mobility and vehicles, the next meeting will be on August the 2nd. Please excuse me. 2023 at 1:30 in this boardroom. Thank you, Egon.
Okay.
All right, now the Security and Community Access Committee met on June 28th. Because we had to change our dates around because of meetings, et cetera, the report did not get into our packet. We have the report from the previous month. So with that, at that meeting, we discussed the stop signs and had input from our residents. And it was pretty well divided between those that liked it and those that didn't. And the test period is 6 months, so it will be close to the end of the year before we decide whether it really is doing what we had hoped it would do, and that is to slow down people and have less people running stop signs. Our next meeting is August 23rd at 1:30 here in the boardroom, and it is a virtual meeting.
Okay. Report of Laguna Woods Village traffic hearing, Director Addington.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm wearing my glasses now, so hopefully I can get my dates right. The Laguna Woods Village traffic hearings were last held on July 19th. That's a closed hearing for confidentiality purposes. We had 5 people scheduled, 2 no-shows, which is odd considering you have to request a hearing. But anyway, 2 of them no-showed. And then we had a really unusual occurrence. We had a walk-in. And normally we don't accept walk-ins at the hearings because they're, by appointment. But since we'd had the 2 no-shows, we went ahead and accepted the walk-in. And of those total of 6 violations, 5 were found guilty and 1 was found not guilty. And the next one will be on August 16th, 2023 at 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you. The Compliance Ad Hoc Committee, President Carpenter.
Okay. So, the next compliance meeting will be August 11th at 9:30. And what we discussed basically was to have the internal dispute also handled through compliance department. Oops. I'll turn that on. And We also discussed the fee, the GRF occupancy fee, and that will be evaluated by finance and brought back to the next compliance meeting. Thank you.
Okay, executive member hearing.
So the executive member hearing is confidential, but the only thing I wanted to say is now that we have the process approved, that also with these executive hearings, we will also be hearing IDRs also. So thank you.
Thank you. Report of Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Director Skill.
Okay, thank you. The Disaster Preparedness Task Force met last week on July 25th, and here in the boardroom, we had a wonderful presentation by the Sheriff's Department. We work very closely with the Sheriff's Department, and they have a disaster plan for the county and the city of Laguna Woods. And so we're trying to make sure that everything we have meshes together and we're not out there on our own. It was also brought up that the city of Laguna Woods will have its final reading. They had their first reading this in July. August 16th, they meet the third Wednesday of the month on licensing of the cannabis dispensary for the city of Laguna Woods. So anybody who's interested in that subject might want to go to that meeting. And our next meeting is September 26th at 9:30 here in the boardroom.
Thank you. Information Technology Advisory Committee, Director Hopkins.
Thank you. I'm just going to take the liberty of finishing my finance committee and then go to.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. From the financial committee met on June. What was it? June something. On June 21st, 2023, and the results of that were we had an endorsement of a donation of 21 Dell computers. We endorsed that. It was a donation. We also endorsed the community activities recommendation for a $50 fee for veggie pods. And we also moved forward with a recommendation to accept moving forward, the stop signs at crosswalks at Avenida Sevilla, and Mendoza. We also made comments relative to the IT committee. We're moving forward. I think we fell behind just briefly. We're starting to catch up now. Most of it had to do with testing and availability of EMS personnel to do the testing, as well as a vendor that was required to go forward. We had to make an agreement with an vendor to move forward with some of the development. But we're right on target now. It's still a huge project, which will result in a lot of efficiencies within the community once it's done. Great help. And so that was about it for that.
Thank you. Item J, Purchasing Ad Hoc Committee, Director Carpenter.
Okay. At the last Purchasing Ad Hoc Committee, we almost completed the new purchasing updates, modifications, to the purchasing policy. And the goal basically is to make sure that the processes that are indicated into that purchasing policy are in sync with our new system. And so where we are at right now is to understand how the work order process works with the system, and staff is researching that. And when they've completed that research, we will meet again and complete the process. To complete the policy. So I expect that there'll just be about one more meeting to complete the modifications and then bring it before all the boards. Thank you.
Okay. Is that it?
Thank
you. Item K, Laguna Woods City Council update. This is a new one. Ms. Skillman,
Right.
you're going to tell us what's happening in the city.
Well, I don't think a lot, we are part of the city. We are the largest part of the city, but what the city does affects us, and we need to be aware of what goes on at the city council meeting. They meet at 2 p.m. on the third Wednesday every month. It is televised on Channel 3, not on Channel 6, but on Channel 3. And if you're interested in the agenda or any of the propositions or resolutions, you can contact them. The information's on their website, and they will put you on their mailing list so that every month you get a copy of what's going to be on their agenda and the propositions. As I mentioned under disaster preparedness, the big issue right now is the dispensary. They have done a, I think, fantastic job of researching this and deciding where it can't be, where it could be, all of these types of things. And it's not just willy-nilly. And I think that if you read through the whole report, and I have it, we may even give it at one of our other meetings. They did a great PowerPoint slide at the last city council meeting on it. So I encourage everybody who is interested in that kind of thing to be aware that we are an integral part of the city of Laguna Woods.
Yeah, one of the items that you brought up last time, it was about rezoning and all of that, which going to impact us greatly. So I really want the member to participate and understand what this rezoning means to us if it goes forward.
Right, we're a private community, but we are subject to the zoning of the city. So yes, it's very important that we keep up with what's going on there.
Okay, thank you. Michaela sent me an email from one of our members. I suggest that send it to all the board members so they know about the email. There was several items, a long one, I'm not going to read it, so please look at it. It's building issue and a lot of other things in there. We go to number 15, future agenda items. All matters listed under future agenda items are resolution, 28 days public review, or items for future board meeting. No action will be taken by the board at this time, and the board will take action on those items at the future board meeting. One of the items is pricing rate for electric vehicle charging station.
We placed that today.
Oh, well, this is, I guess, if I'm correct, they said that they're going to do this every 6
Every
months
year,
or
so
6
next
months. I don't know.
It's a year.
Every year they're going to. So should we take it after here? Everyone agrees? Okay, we'll take it
Well,
after
we
future.
would agree it stayed on there until it gets approved. And so now this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's approved,
All right.
so it would be go off on the next agenda.
All right.
Yeah.
Hiring a traffic engineer consultant, that's second one. Now we are item 16, director comments. I start from Mr. Rosa.
I still say, great job, finance. Great job.
I have a comment on
Okay, he hasn't done with his comment.
I have a comment on item 15 at this time. We see that hiring a traffic engineer consultant to study the intersection. Now, definitely, we are going to do this as an item because of the safety issue. But that area is within the Laguna Woods Village private property. Can we not decide ourselves whether we need, our security department perhaps can decide whether we need anything like that? Do we want to spend for a consultant to decide what is good for us?
I'm not going to make a comment because it's not on it's on the future agenda.
No, but it's not.
Well, that is
I'm
the
not going to
reason
give
that-
directive to anybody.
It does not have to be a future agenda, no.
Wait,
Well, it has to go to the committee.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought that went to the committee, and the committee, there were a lot of arguments for and against getting a and it had to do with like exposure to lawsuits and stuff like that, that it was, so I thought when it came to this,
No, not
this didn't come here
No.
to the board?
No.
Not yet.
Because it went forward.
The committee made the
The
recommendation,
committee, yes, yes.
but it's not on the items here, so
Well, I know, that's what I'm trying to, what happened to it?
I don't know.
Oh, would you call on Carlos, please?
Come on, tell us.
Good afternoon, I think. Or still good morning.
Almost another 10 minutes.
It will be a feature item. Yes, it went to the committee and then it was forwarded to this board here. But staff will have a report and we'll have a recommendation, and that's where the discussions will take place.
So it's going to be next.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are you done yet? You're done?
I'm done.
I'll go back to
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Rosa. He hasn't finished yet.
I'm just thinking about so many communities across the country that have suffered, over atrocities that have occurred in regards to shootings and that. And we need to be tied in with Laguna Woods, the city, and our community needs to be aware and responsive towards, potential hazards or occurrences, disasters that may occur. I just felt the need to interject that.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman is a disaster preparedness. She's going to get us all prepared for any kind of disaster.
Thank you.
I hope.
Well, I can say I'm very proud with the way our village responded to the shooting that we had at the church that was not on our property, but was adjacent to. But we mobilized, our staff was there. It was a really great response, and I think that anybody in the village can be proud and secure that within these gates, safety is our primary prayer.
Any more comments from you?
Nope.
Yes. Madam President?
Thank you for your patience with me today.
Director Hopkins?
Nope, I've said enough.
Director Addington?
No, thank you, good job.
Director Horton?
Oh, at last, I have something to say.
Oh,
Pay attention. Again, I want to repeat that there are 250 clubs in here. And because I'm in charge of CAC, the chair, I want to encourage everybody to get involved. It'll keep you young. Please. Anyway, that's what I had to say.
okay, thank you. Director Egan?
No comments.
Okay. I just want to thank everybody to put up with me today, since our Madam President recovered her voice very quickly, so we're all going to have her back. Any comments from the staff?
No, but when you guys adjourn, can you just let us know what time you'd like recess?
Okay, we would like to convene at, it's 12:30 is fine, or 12:45? Which one?
12:30?
12:30.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
12:30. This one is done. Thank you. Thank you.